Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakah Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And I have an article here. I'm sure, some of you may have already heard about this, but recently there was this incident. I think this was downtown. Yeah, it says here in Times Square, where you had illegal aliens attack NYPD officers. And as the headline reads here, they were released without bail. And there's if you look this up, you'll find like footage of what's happening, where basically you had two NYPD officers that were trying to make an arrest, and you had this group of as it says here, legal aliens that basically came in and jumped the officers, right? Hit him, basically helped the guy who was getting arrested escape. But I'm going to read how it's worded in the article. It has a bit more details. And once again, just to highlight this point of what's going on in here, it's really just the beginning, okay? Because you now have a lot of, and a lot of these people that you even see in the video, these are not like, these are young men, right? These aren't like 60-year-old people or like 14-year-olds or 12-year-olds. These are like middle-aged, individuals that can do a lot of damage. And this is just, an example of just the beginning of things. Okay, I'm sure some have a specific purpose. Some might be sleeper cells, but nevertheless, you had, after this C-19 situation, which, believe it or not, I think it's about 4 years ago. Time flies, right? But you had that situation where they were defunding the police. There was all this stuff going on. A lot of people started to leave the police force, and you had crime rates start to go up drastically. Okay, there was a very big spike in crime, and not enough police officers to handle it. Now you have situations where, for certain situations or incidents that take place, when you call 911, the police don't even show up. They only show up for specific cases. A brother was saying that, for things like in New York, for things like accidents, unless somebody's like injured or hurt or leaving in like a, them ER, the paramedics vehicles, police ain't gonna show up. Now you'll see, like, when you're driving certain highways, typically where cops would be hiding or perched up with their scanner, their speed gun to find people who are going over the speed limit and hunt them down. Now it's just an empty cop car that's just put there to to be like a scarecrow, basically. But it goes to show you that the police force is less and less, and they're already being overwhelmed. So what happens now when, in addition to the situation that was already spiraling out of control, you're now having an influx of migrants coming in who basically can now do whatever they want to do? And it's like, if you had two cops that were struggling with 5 or 10 or 20 civilians, right? What happens when those same two cops now have to deal with 50 or 70 civilians? What do you think is going to happen then? The NYPD has expressed disgust following an incident where officers reported being attacked by a group of illegal immigrants in Times Square over the weekend, only for the suspects to be released without bail. Authorities are seeking assistance from the public in identifying 4 individuals believed to be part of the group that assaulted 2 officers on Saturday night. Surveillance footage provided by the NYPD depicts the front of a migrant shelter located at 220 West 42nd Street. Police stated that the officers were attempting to disperse a disorderly crowd when the altercation occurred. In a subsequent clip, officers appeared to be making an arrest when they were reportedly assaulted by a group of men. And that's the thing, like we keep on emphasizing, a lot of these people you see coming across the border and from different borders too, coming into the country, the majority of them are men. Not boys, not children, not women, not old ladies, men. Okay. So, you got to be very careful nowadays, in your day to day. That whole spirit of, oh, we outside, or, you're going to go out and come home at like 2 a.m. or whatever the kid. All right. You try doing that and see what happens to you. I did a lesson, I think either a year or a couple of years ago, where there was this woman that was almost sexually assaulted, and she called the police, and the police basically told her that, look, the best thing you can do right now is just don't be outside after 9 p.m. because in a lot of these cases, like I think there was another article going into it, like sexual assault or just basic like assault cases, like because so many things are on the, in the queue, these things go all the way in the back and they probably don't even get touched. Okay, like I'm sure the amount of cases that have been filed for like assault and sex, especially sexual assault, that's like a very rampant thing. It's just like piling up by the minute. And a lot of the quote unquote victims never really hear anything. Their case doesn't even get touched. Okay, so keep that in mind. Like, now is not the time to be out here doing whatever you want. Like, you got to be very careful nowadays because you in the wrong place at the wrong time, and you see a group of migrants grab you up. That's the end for you. Because if they just assaulted police officers and they were released without bail, well, let's see what happens. According to the NYPD, a lieutenant sustained a facial laceration while both he and an officer from the Midtown South Precinct endured kicks and punches to the head and the body. And in the video, you can see that. So these migrants, they weren't like, trying to play around and just, lightly tapping these officers. No, those were some full kicks, man. Dude got kicked in the head. 5 individuals were apprehended by the police, but 4 others managed to evade capture. The NYPD identified those arrests as follows. And an arrest is, being arrested doesn't mean that you're in jail or you're going to jail or you're going to prison. Being arrested is the part where you get apprehended, where they grab you, they put you in cuff, and they take you to the station, and then they process you for whatever it is. But that's just an arrest. So when you hear that somebody was arrested, it doesn't mean that, oh, this person is arrested, they're in jail right now. That's not what it means. Okay? So a lot of these cases are becoming like catch and release. They arrest them and then they say, well, there's nothing much we can really do. So, well, let them go. A 19-year-old from Mississippi, a 19-year-old from a migrant shelter in the 81st Precinct in Brooklyn, a 21-year-old from a migrant shelter in Queens, a 24-year-old from a migrant shelter on Jefferson Street in Brooklyn, a 22-year-old. So you're starting to see that, this isn't, and mind you, these states are telling you, open up your homes. If you have a spare room, open up them homes and let us use it as housing, housing for them. Why don't you open up your rooms? These mayors and governors, why don't they open up their residences? Why don't you lead by example? The people, you're already a governor. You're supposed to be a leader of the people. So lead by example. Open up your rooms and house about 50 migrants in there. Let's see how it goes after a 3-month experiment, and then if you're still alive and in one piece, then others might think about considering. How's that? The Manhattan District Attorney's Office has disclosed that 4 of the 5 suspects were released without bail. Now, hold on one second, though. Imagine, because when they call them illegal, aliens, foreigners, migrants, there are a lot of them that are in here that are not like registered. Like they just came through the border, an open border, and just walked up in here. They weren't identified. They weren't like, processed into the system. None of that. So it'd be hard to you find them. Okay, maybe you try to process them now or whatever the case is, but it's basically like a catch and release. And what if they just flee to another state or somewhere else? And the thing is, behind the scenes, they're getting help. Okay, this is an organized situation. This isn't just random. Anyway, they face charges including assault on a police officer, gang assault, obstructing governmental administration, and disorderly conduct. The fifth individual is awaiting arraignment. And that's pretty much all we have on here. So, no, like I said, this is just one of many examples. I'm sure there are going to be more incidents that come out, as there have been already in the past. So, I mean, we're going to see, but eventually you're going to start to see that the result, okay, of, you know, this whole situation, this whole border situation. There's a lot of stuff that is going into this, you know, like, I mean, there's a whole lot of different possible outcomes and situations and events that you haven't even thought of. You know, they distract you with the main things that are going on. Oh yeah, you got the, you know, like the whole border situation, Texas, the federal government, but there's also a lot of stuff happening, you know, behind the scenes. Okay, now real quick, let's get the book of Isaiah chapter 19 verse 3, because everything is really falling apart. And I mean, like, imagine this place, America, 40 years ago, you know, like in the world view, or 60 years ago in the world view. You know, they weren't like looked at as they are now. People look at this place like, man, what the hell is going on over there? It's very quickly becoming a third world country that's advertised as a first world, or whatever the equivalent term would be. Anyway, Isaiah 19:3, the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols and to the charmers and to them that have familiar spirits and to the wizards. And the main point here is the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof. People, first off, the civilians are losing confidence. They're getting frustrated. Cost of living is ridiculous, and it's causing people to be desperate. And the more desperate people get, the more drastic actions they take. You know, I went to the store one time, you know, I was trying to get some clothes, and literally there's this chick that like walked out there with a bag full of stuff that she didn't pay for. You know, like she was at the register, they bagged her stuff. The cashier went to the other register to check something, and whew, shorty dipped like it was nobody's business. Just took her bag, speed walked off. You know, like, and people do that. You know, like it's now to the point where it's like, okay, and I mean, the cashier wasn't gonna hop off the register and you know, tackle her. They weren't gonna do that. Okay, but everything is basically going down in this place very quickly. It's a beautiful thing to see because this place is wicked as hell. Okay, but it's also hard for a lot of people to imagine. That's why a lot of people today are in denial and they're not really paying attention. You see, they want to distract themselves with everything that they can. But now people are starting to realize that even the things that you use to distract yourself, or it's like that itself is failing. You know, like music nowadays is just like terrible. I mean, you better off just listening to instrumentals or something, because a lot of the music that comes out nowadays is so pointless. It's just like they put a catchy beat, but if you actually listen to the words that are being said, if you can actually hear it and decipher it, it's just so ridiculous. It's not even funny. It's like, yo, what the hell is this shit? This is music? But hey, that's the world today. You know, this is what a decaying society looks like. And there's only a matter of time before, you know, it fully goes down. So with that, I'm going to end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Wadash. And until next time, Shalom.